New tonight, a grand jury rules Bellevue police officers should not face charges in connection with the man's in-custody death last summer. Back in August, officers responded for a report of a man allegedly under the influence in a caller's backyard pool. The man, 43-year-old Justin Lifers, left the caller's home and then made contact with police. While officers were trying to detain him, Lifers became unresponsive. Medics tried life-saving efforts but were not successful, and he died at the hospital. Under Nebraska law, a grand jury reviewed evidence in the case and found no criminal conduct by the officer.